Hello everyone, and welcome to the Horror Snob. My name's Michael James. I am the Horror Snob, and I'm here with 3 more new movies that are going to be coming out here next week. We're going to preview and round down all of them, talk about initial trailer reactions, cast and crew, on screen and off, and what you can expect from these films. Now, if you're not necessarily looking to listen to me babble on for the next few minutes, and you want to just check out the trailers as they are, I do have them available for you. Just click the link above. It'll take you directly to where you want to go. As for the 3 films on slate today, 3 movies that are very under the radar, indie films all, not going to have cast and crews you're familiar with or titles you've likely even heard of before. But what they do have the chance of providing us is storylines we haven't seen, characters we're unfamiliar with, putting us on the edge of our seat in anticipation because we might have the Mecca of all things for us as horror fans, movies we cannot predict, with scenes we do not see coming. I expect each of these to be truly unique, weird, and completely off the wall, and a lot of fun. So let's kick all of that off, going to number 3 on our list, coming out next Thursday on March 11th, it's The Block Island Sound. Really more of a family affair than anything else. This movie is helmed and starring a herd of people named McManus. Kevin and Matthew behind screen as writer-directors, producers. You've seen their work before in things like Cobra Kai, American Vandal, and Da Vinci's Demons. And you've seen Michaela in TV shows like The Vampire Diaries or in the movie Into the Grizzly Maze. Chris Sheffield ultimately is the one that takes the lead on screen in this, though, in a movie where some seriously weird shit's going down in a seaside village. The atmosphere feels very much a mix of more recent films like Sea Fever and classics like John Carpenter's The Fog. If any bit of the unusualness from those 2 movies merges to provide us something within this The Block Island Sound, we're in for a hell of a treat. It is creepy, cool, with a great atmosphere, and they did a phenomenal job of giving us just enough to be intrigued by the trailer, but not so much as that the entire story is given away. Look for The Block Island Sound, available on Netflix next week, Thursday, March 11th. At number 2, it's Honeydew, a movie that seems like it's got a lot going on within it, but all very understated too. Another under-the-radar indie film about a young couple out on the road. They end up hunkering down to go camping one night, ends up there in the middle of somebody's yard, and he's not real happy about it. Shoves them off. They're apparently stranded, car isn't working, so they're knocking door to door, looking for help. Lo and behold, a door opens, nice little old lady invites them in, and then the weird shit starts to go down. From that point forward, it's really anybody's guess what to expect from this film. There are scenes of torture and torment, there's moments that hint towards some psychosis, maybe even cannibalism. We could honestly end up with a movie that spans anywhere across the spectrum of horror, from something as disturbing as the Texas Chainsaw Massacre to something that is as light and nuanced as The Body at Brighton Rock. A movie that barely could be called horror, that really just sits on that cusp, that edge of being a light thriller. And this could be one of those kind of movies. A well put together trailer that gives us just enough to salivate about, but not so much as to know what the hell is going on or what to even remotely expect from this movie. All I know is that that's exactly what I look for in a film, something that's going to keep me guessing and keep me on the edge of my seat, and I honestly believe Honeydew is one of those kind of films. You can find it available in limited release coming up next week on Friday the 12th. Hey gang, before we finish up today's episode, just a quick reminder to check out the website, horrorsnob.com. You can find a full archive of everything I've put out thus far, some truly awesome novelty items, and absolutely rare horror memorabilia authentically autographed by dudes like Sid Haig, John Carpenter, and Bela Lugosi. All available for you at horrorsnob.com. And now let's get back into it. And lastly, at number 3, it's Come True, a movie directed by Anthony Scott Burns, whose work you'll recognize from Our House, In the Tall Grass, and Holidays. Landon LeByron on screen, the one face you'll likely recognize, the dude who was the werewolf in Hemlock Grove. Netflix's, first, maybe second original series that they ever put out. If you never saw that show, I would highly recommend you go back, find it, and watch it. It absolutely has the best werewolf transformation scenes of anything ever. Yeah, I know a lot of you purists out there are going to argue about American Werewolf, but I'm telling you, anything in Hemlock Grove beats it hands down twice over. As for this movie, Come True, basic storyline follows a young girl and her deep dive into understanding her insomnia. She goes through a bunch of tests, ends up in the hospital, and things just seem to get darker, deeper, and more twisted as we go along. With a lot of deep, dark usage of contrast and shades of blue, there's a lot of artistic license in this film, stylism that may turn some of you off. But ultimately, I think this storyline and the setup and the atmosphere is going to pay off huge. The mood of it reminds me quite a bit of what we had with It Follows. And yeah, some of you out there didn't like that film at all. I don't understand why. That was a magnificent movie. And if this one, Come True, comes anywhere even close to that, we are going to get a massive payoff for something you didn't know anything about up to about 5 minutes ago. You can find Come True available video on demand next week on Friday the 12th. I would recommend you take the time to check it out. All right, that's it for me today. As always, I invite you to take a moment, hit that subscribe button and the bell, stay up to date with all the reviews, previews, rankings, and so much more that I pump out on a regular basis. And as for our Horror Snob Hall of Fame matchup of the day, it's going to be based off our Women of Horror honoree of the day. Shirley Jackson, a horror author from the early 1900s that gave us one of the classics of all time that has been remade so many times over, you've probably lost count. The novel I'm referring to is The Haunting of Hill House. Originally done as a movie in 1963, we've seen it remade again with the Liam Neeson, Catherine Zeta-Jones version from 1999, and more recently as the Netflix television show The Haunting of Hill House from a couple years back. An absolutely phenomenal show, and my personal favorite of the group. But ultimately, I'm not the one voting on this today. You are. And so for today's Horror Snob Hall of Fame matchup, what I want to know from you is, of the 3 variations that I just mentioned of Shirley Jackson's work, do you like best? The original, The Haunting from 1963, the 1999 version, or the Netflix television show? Tell me in the comment section down below. And remember, as always, in order to be eligible for the 1-year free subscription to Shudder, you have to be a follower of ours on Facebook and a subscriber of ours on YouTube. You can find the full rules and how to win available on our Facebook page as well for more information. As always, my name is Michael James. I am the Horror Snob. I thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.